Absolute chaos in the courtroom today as Diddy's son breaks down in tears while shocking new evidence emerges, directly linking him to the controversial case that has already turned Diddy's life upside down. No one saw this coming. The moment the attorney presented this newly uncovered evidence, the entire courtroom was left in complete shock. Witnesses say Diddy's son couldn't hold back his emotions, visibly shaken, head in his hands as the weight of the situation crashed down on him. What exactly was uncovered? And how does it change everything we thought we knew about this case?
The hits just keep on coming against P. Diddy, with a string of new civil lawsuits filed against the embattled music icon just this week. But Diddy isn't the only one who's facing some major allegations. Two of his sons, Justin and Christian Combs, are both name-dropped in several civil suits that list Diddy as a defendant. And the accusations against them are pretty serious, ranging from drugging victims and sexually assaulting them to apparent involvement in a shooting. We're breaking down all the allegations against both sons and speaking with former federal prosecutor Nima Rahmani about whether they could face criminal charges. I'm Sierra Gillespie, and this is Law and Crime News. The allegations against 54-year-old Sean Diddy Combs have dominated headlines for more than a month, and he spent most of that time at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, held on some pretty severe federal charges. Just last month, he was indicted by a grand jury on charges of racketeering.
According to insider sources, the new evidence includes text messages, emails, and financial records that directly implicate Christian in the allegations against his father. The evidence, which was presented in court earlier today, reportedly reveals that Christian had knowledge of, and possibly participated in, some of the activities at the center of the case. As the evidence was presented, Christian was seen visibly shaken, and moments later he broke down in tears, unable to contain his emotions. The judge was forced to call a recess to allow him to compose himself.
Here's where some of the allegations against his son, Justin Combs, come in. So all this takes us back to February, when Rodney Jones, also known as the producer Lil Rod, filed civil suit against Diddy. In his lengthy lawsuit, Lil Rod straight name drops Justin Combs, describing him as someone who solicits prostitutes, underage girls, and workers. There's actually a picture of Justin Combs with an allegedly underage girl shown in the lawsuit. Now, in this specific instance, Lil Rod alleges at least one underage girl came to Diddy's home for a listening party. The sex worker was also apparently solicited, and a freak-off ensued. As an aside, this is the same night that Lil Rod alleges Diddy forced him to take a laced shot. He started to feel lightheaded and then woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning, next to a sex worker. It's important to note Justin Combs is listed as a defendant on this case because, according to Lil Rod, he facilitated Diddy's alleged RICO enterprise.
For months, Diddy has been at the center of a legal firestorm, facing intense scrutiny over a series of allegations that have sent shockwaves through the industry. His legal team has been fighting an uphill battle, desperately trying to keep things under control. But just when it seemed like they had a grasp on things, this new evidence hits the courtroom like a bombshell. And this time, it's not just about Diddy. According to inside sources, the newly revealed evidence is so explosive.
Lil Rod's civil suit points to more accusations against Justin Combs, too, for his involvement in an alleged shooting cover-up. According to court documents, it happened on September 12, 2022, outside Diddy's Chalice Studios. Lil Rod says Diddy, his son Justin, and Justin's friend who went by G were all there when things got heated. Lil Rod says he heard multiple gunshots ring out and later found G on the bathroom floor in the fetal position. Lil Rod says he was bleeding out of his hip and leg area. Lil Rod says he was applying pressure to G's wounds and then asked the crowd to call an ambulance. At that point, both Diddy and Justin Combs disappeared to another part of the studio. Diddy then gave strict instructions to inform the police that he had nothing to do with the shooting. He also forced Mr. Jones to lie to the police by telling them that G was shot standing outside the studio by a drive-by assailant. So that specific allegation involves Diddy's son Justin.
So undeniable that it's left even the most seasoned legal analysts speechless. And at the center of it all? Diddy's own son. Speculation is running wild about what this evidence actually contains, but leaks suggest that it could include direct communications, financial transactions, or even recorded statements that show a deeper connection to the case than anyone previously thought. The moment it was revealed, Diddy's son lost all composure. his reaction making it clear that this was something he never expected to come to light.
Another allegation and entirely separate civil lawsuit involves his other son, Christian, or King Combs. Grace Omar K. alleges that Christian Combs sexually assaulted her on a yacht in December 2022, and she says it was facilitated by Diddy. Diddy had rented the yacht around Christmas time, and Omar K. says it was a revolving door of high-profile celebrities and workers who were often passed out on the ship's deck. The lawsuit says there were liquor bottles all over, and it was difficult to distinguish which ones were laced with drugs. Omar K. alleges that on December 28, 2022, while working as a yacht deckhand, she was sexually assaulted by a heavily intoxicated Christian Combs, who physically assaulted her and allegedly forced her to perform oral sex on him. Since these suits were filed, both Justin and Christian Combs were seen in federal court at their father's appearance just last week. But could they too face charges?
Social media has exploded with reactions to the news, with hashtags like #ChristianCombs and #Diddy case trending worldwide. Fans of the Combs family are expressing shock and concern, while critics are calling the evidence a smoking gun that could finally bring justice to the accusers. The revelations have reignited debates about the Combs family's involvement in the case, with many questioning how this new evidence will impact the outcome. Legal experts are now questioning what this means for the case moving forward.
We're seeing a new glimpse into the raids of hip-hop mogul Sean Diddy Combs' Los Angeles home. The mother of Diddy's son recently released this footage to her Instagram page as she slammed federal agents, accusing them of using militarized force against her son. Misa Hilton, the mother of Diddy's son Justin Combs, posted the sped-up surveillance video of last Monday's raids as agents with Homeland Security descended upon Diddy's reported $40 million LA home. In the first few seconds of the clip, you can see armored tanks arrive outside the home. Then agents with their guns drawn open one of the cars parked in the driveway. The video then highlights one particular agent who notices the home's security camera. He points the camera toward the ground. Once inside the home, federal agents can be seen using a drone. Then the video shows Diddy's son Christian with his hands in the air, pressed against a wall, then handcuffed. Diddy's son Justin then appears with his hands on his head. The agents then appear to take him down a hallway. The release clip ends with what appears to be another man who is dragged out of the home and on the driveway by agents.
Could this evidence be enough to drag Diddy's son into legal trouble? Will prosecutors use this as a new angle to further tighten the case against Diddy? And most importantly, what does this mean for the future of Diddy's empire? Let's take a closer look at how this story unfolded. Diddy, whose real name is Sean Combs, was arrested and charged earlier this year following a series of allegations that have rocked the music industry. The charges range from workplace harassment to more serious claims of abuse, and the case has been one of the most closely watched legal battles in recent memory.
Stevie J, Justin, and Christian Combs were not arrested or charged following the raids, and Diddy was not near his LA mansion at the time of the raid. Instead, he was reportedly attempting to board his private plane to fly to the Bahamas for spring break with his twin daughters. Authorities did make one arrest when Diddy's alleged drug supplier, 25-year-old Brendan Paul, was attempting to board onto Diddy's plane, but police arrested the former Syracuse basketball player at a Miami airport. Paul was referred to as an alleged drug mule for Diddy and Rodney Jones' $30 million civil suit, where Jones accused the music mogul of sexual misconduct, grooming, as well as sex and drug trafficking. Paul was arrested and charged with possession of suspected cocaine and marijuana candy, and later released after posting a $2,500 bail. A lawyer for Paul later released a statement saying, quote, "We do not plan on trying this case in the media. All issues will be dealt with in court." In light of last week's federal raids, which are reportedly related to the federal sex trafficking probe,
Diddy has consistently denied the allegations, calling them false and defamatory. But the new evidence linking his son Christian to the case has cast serious doubt on his claims. Sources inside the courtroom report that Diddy's legal team was completely blindsided by this revelation. One witness even described the defense attorneys as looking completely lost, frantically flipping through documents, scrambling to figure out their next move. They had prepared for a battle, but not for this.
A woman accuses Christian King Combs of sexually assaulting her on a yacht. We are going to break down this latest legal action as Sean Combs remains embroiled in an apparent sex trafficking investigation. Former Diddy producer named Rodney Jones would likely be filing another suit against Combs' son Christian, and that has just happened. Yes, in fact, the yacht incident, which we're going to get into, was mentioned in Jones's lawsuit against Diddy, with Jones claiming in the complaint that he had personal knowledge that Christian drugged and sexually assaulted a woman. And a footnote was included that a complaint would be forthcoming. Now, at the time, I was wondering if Jones would be the one suing Christian. After all, he already sued Christian's brother and Diddy's other son, Justin. But I was struggling to figure out what would be his cause of action against Christian. Well, it turns out that Jones is not suing Christian. It is actually the woman who was allegedly assaulted by Christian, and she is being raped by Jones's lawyer.
The evidence, which was reportedly obtained through a combination of legal discovery and private investigations, includes text messages and emails that appear to show Christian discussing activities related to the allegations. Financial records also reveal suspicious transactions that could be linked to the case. Legal experts are calling the evidence a game changer, suggesting that it could lead to a conviction if admitted in court. The judge overseeing the case has yet to rule on the admissibility of the evidence, but the damage to the Combs family's public image may already be irreversible.
So first, this development comes almost 2 weeks after Diddy's homes in Miami and Los Angeles were raided by Homeland Security investigators. It's part of a sweeping sex trafficking investigation by the Southern District of New York, or at least that's what it's being reported. That's what sources from law enforcement are indicating. Now, Diddy's 2 sons, Justin and Christian, they were seen in handcuffs outside of that LA home during the raid. They weren't under arrest. They were merely detained while officers were assessing the situation and going into the home. But Diddy, Justin, and Christian, they have all been named in these very big lawsuits. But remember, that is civil. That is the civil arena. None of them have been arrested or charged with any crime related to this apparent criminal investigation. But our analysts here on Sidebar expect that at least one arrest will be coming soon. But now we fast forward to Thursday, when attorney Tyrone Blackburn, the man already representing Rodney Jones.
Social media is already exploding with reactions. Some fans are standing by Diddy and his family, calling this a desperate attempt to tear them down, while others believe this new evidence could be the final nail in the coffin for Diddy's defense. Friends and associates of the Combs family have been quick to defend Christian, calling the evidence fabricated and taken out of context. They insist that Christian is a victim of a smear campaign designed to tarnish his reputation and legacy.
Grace O'Markey in Los Angeles Superior Court accusing 26-year-old Christian Combs of her and assaulting her in December of 2022 when she was working in a charter boat in St. Martin. So according to the lawsuit, O'Markey says that she had been working as a steward, providing food and drinks on that yacht for a 12-hour period, and she was 25 years old at the time. She believed that the trip would be a, quote, wholesome family excursion, but says it, quote, turned into a hedonistic environment, even describing rampant use amongst workers and celebrities who came on board. She believes that the alcohol on the yacht had been laced with drugs because she says women would have one drink and then almost immediately pass out or start falling over. This is, by the way, something that it was also alleged in Jones's lawsuit, that Combs would spike the drinks of different people. But focusing on Christian Combs.
However, others close to the case suggest that the evidence is credible and could have a significant impact on the outcome. The emotional toll on Christian was evident as he broke down in court, leaving many wondering how he will cope with the ongoing legal battle. And let's not forget, Diddy's already facing mounting pressure from past allegations, with multiple investigations still ongoing. Now, with his son's emotional breakdown in court, questions are swirling about just how deep this case actually goes. This isn't just a story about Diddy and Christian. It's about the broader issues of power and accountability in the entertainment industry.
O'Markey says that Christian Combs had been staying at a villa on the shore, but that he would come onto the yacht in the evening to party. And on December 28, 2022, Christian reportedly arrived very intoxicated and then proceeded to pressure O'Markey to take shots of tequila. She did. Christian allegedly tried to get her to drink more in the yacht's makeshift studio. O'Markey alleges that Christian kissed her neck, kissed her face, as he groped her legs, breasts, and private areas. O'Markey reportedly told Christian, quote, "Excuse me, you don't touch my legs like that. I'll move my legs where I want to. If I want to do this, then I will. You don't touch my legs like that." O'Markey then says that she told Christian she couldn't stay with him unless it was approved by a supervisor, all of whom she knew would be asleep at the time, so this was a way for her to get out of the situation. She claims that Christian said, "Who can I talk to? I'm going to say I requested you right now."
The explosive evidence has sparked important conversations about how families are impacted by legal battles and whether the system is equipped to uncover the truth. Some are calling for reforms to ensure that all evidence is thoroughly reviewed, while others argue that the Combs family's situation is a consequence of their alleged actions. Behind the scenes, sources say Diddy is furious. Insiders claim that he's been trying to shield his family from the fallout, but now that his son has been dragged into the mess,
Omarke says that she tried to go back to her work, but Christian found her again, wanted her to find him a place to sleep for the night. So she ended up taking him to the cinema room for the Yacht, which doubled as a place for people to sleep. And she claims that is when Christian blocked her and groped her, took off his clothes, tried to force her to perform sex on him. She says that she was able to fight him off until someone came in. Now, the lawsuit goes on to say that Omarke told the yacht captain what happened the very next day, but he didn't believe her, didn't do any sort of real investigation. She says the captain retaliated against her for months after the alleged assault, before ultimately firing her in May of 2023. Now, aside from her account, aside from a potential other witness, right, the person that allegedly walked in on this,
he's in full damage control mode. There are even reports that Diddy is considering making a last-minute legal move to try and suppress the newly surfaced evidence before it can be fully examined in court. As the case continues to unfold, one question looms large. What's next for Diddy and Christian? Will the explosive evidence lead to a conviction? Or will their legal team find a way to discredit it? And how will Christian move forward from this emotional ordeal? For now,
Grace Omarke, this is against Christian Combs as you're referring to it. And Diddy is a co-defendant in this case because she says he facilitated it. It was on a yacht that Diddy had rented. But it was Christian, the one who allegedly assaulted her. I mean, so how does all of that relate? The fact that we have Diddy, who's also part of this, but it's mostly on Christian in this instance?
Yeah, in this particular instance, like you said, it did take place on a yacht. She was someone who was working at the time, and Little Rod was there apparently, and obviously he's a plaintiff in a civil lawsuit himself. But whenever you are a plaintiff in a civil case, you obviously want to go after someone with the ability to pay. That's what we call a deep pocket. So even though Diddy might not have personally participated in this alleged incident, you really want to wrap him in as a co-defendant because obviously his ability to pay any judgment is going to be very different.
all eyes are on the courtroom as the world waits to see how this story will unfold. But will it work? Or is it already too late? This latest twist raises serious questions about Diddy's legal strategy moving forward. If his son is now implicated, could more family members be dragged into this courtroom battle? Are prosecutors about to widen the investigation even further? One thing is for sure, this case is far from over. The pressure is mounting, the stakes are higher than ever, and now, with this latest courtroom bombshell, everything is on the line.
I do, and this is why apparently, and obviously I haven't heard him, she has recordings of this incident, audio recordings, and we know how powerful video evidence is. We've talked about it with Cassie Ventura and how that really maybe even shift the direction of this case entirely, because of course Combs denied everything until CNN got a hold of that video in May. And we're talking about a lawsuit that was filed in April, I believe, and again, don't know if it's true, but the allegations are that much of this was recorded in this audio recordings. And if so, and she's saying no, and Christian is moving forward anyway, then you have attempted assault.
Talking about audio and video recordings, that's what's huge in this case. I mean, we heard a lot about it from Cassie in her lawsuit, then of course Lil Rod, and now confirmed in the federal indictment that the feds are saying, yep, we've got some, and that's what led to this indictment and his charges. But what's interesting is that in Lil Rod's lawsuit, he actually has photos, like screenshots of a recording of Justin Combs.
And the tension only gets worse as more shocking details emerge. According to sources close to the case, the newly revealed evidence isn't just circumstantial, it's concrete. Leaked reports suggest that there are digital communications, wire transfers, and even private recordings that could paint a damning picture of involvement. Court insiders say that as the evidence was laid out, Gasps echoed through the courtroom. Diddy himself was seen shaking his head, muttering under his breath.
Now, that includes the woman behind a lawsuit against his son, Christian Combs. So Sean Combs was indicted in federal court last week. He's going to be going up against the formidable prosecutors of the Southern District of New York. And until then, he's locked up at what's called the MDC, the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, New York. And this is a jail which has housed other celebrity inmates at times. It's been plagued with issues like unsanitary conditions, fights between inmates. There's a status conference for his case scheduled for October 10th. But as Combs now faces these criminal charges, there is a separate legal team that is dealing with the multiple civil lawsuits that are pending against him. And one of those complaints was filed by a woman named Grace O'Markey. So O'Markey was apparently a steward working aboard a yacht that was rented by Sean Combs in December of 2022 for a holiday celebration with his family.
Visibly frustrated as his attorneys scrambled to contain the damage. Meanwhile, prosecutors wasted no time in capitalizing on the moment. One legal expert described the scene as a prosecution masterclass, with attorneys immediately pivoting their argument to leverage the new findings. If this evidence holds up, it could lead to even more serious charges. And here's where things get even more intense. Insiders are now saying that Diddy's son might be considering testifying.
O'Markey filed a civil complaint against Christian and named his father, Sean Combs, in the suit as well for allegedly facilitating this assault to occur. Now, through her attorney, O'Markey put out a statement after Sean Combs was arrested saying, quote, "The long-awaited federal arrest of Sean Combs is the first step for our clients receiving justice. We leave the criminal aspect of this case in the hands of the people and justice system. As for the civil cases, we await our time for the facts to reveal themselves and seek the justice our clients deserve." It goes on to say, "We also anticipate more victims coming forward. We knew this was coming. The evidence is very clear, and it was only a matter of time. This is an important step towards justice for all of Mr. Combs' victims, including my clients. Justice will prevail."
Some sources suggest that he may be under pressure to cooperate with authorities, especially if prosecutors decide to offer a deal. If true, this could spell disaster for Diddy. Legal analysts are already debating the potential consequences. Could Diddy's own son turn against him in a desperate attempt to save himself? Or will he remain loyal to his father, risking potential legal trouble of his own? The situation is escalating fast, and Diddy's legal team is scrambling for damage control.
What is the status of this civil case, and what impact could it have, if any, on the criminal charges that Sean Combs now faces? Well, to discuss that, I want to bring in criminal defense attorney Natalie Whittingham-Burrell to talk more about this. Natalie, thank you so much for coming here on Sidebar. Appreciate it.
Hi, Jesse. Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Of course. So first, let me start from a basic point of law. How much do civil cases that might be alleging similar conduct as criminal charges, how much does a result in a civil case affect a criminal case?
Not at all. So it doesn't affect the criminal case. The jury in a criminal case is supposed to remain fair and unbiased and only consider the facts that they're hearing in the courtroom. As far as the judge is concerned, if the judge is going to be imposing a sentence because the jury found the person guilty, the judge should be considering what happened in the courtroom. And usually they don't take into consideration civil liability. I've heard many judges say, I know that there's a concurrent case.
Rumors are flying that they are considering filing emergency motions to suppress the evidence, while others believe Diddy himself may soon break his silence in a last-ditch attempt to sway public opinion. But is it too little? Too late? Industry insiders are already distancing themselves from Diddy. Reports suggest that several major brands and former business partners are quietly cutting ties, trying to avoid getting dragged into the scandal. Meanwhile, other celebrities have started to publicly comment on the case.
What did you make of the statement from Grace O'Markey's legal team after Sean Combs was arrested?
I see. So what they're saying basically is that this is opening up it's kind of opening up for more victims to come forward. And I think that's really what it's all about as far as the civil case is concerned. So more people might feel emboldened, like, look, there is a criminal case here. This means that what happened to me is valid and I am free to speak out about it, right? They'd always been waiting for it. I guess if the feds had investigated and nothing had come of it, people might have felt less inclined to come forward. So as far as emboldening potential victims, yes, the criminal case would impact the psyche of a person who's potentially a victim of Sean Combs. Yes.
Let me ask you this. The statement where they're saying, this isn't a surprise. We expected this to happen. Now, that could be because we were all seeing what was happening play out.
With some voicing support for Diddy's son and others urging him to tell the truth. Social media continues to explode with theories, speculation, and heated debates. Some fans argue that this is all a strategic attack against Diddy, while others believe that justice is finally catching up to him. One thing is clear: this case is no longer just about Diddy. As the trial continues, the stakes keep rising, and with new evidence emerging daily, no one knows how this will end.
Do you think that we're not surprised because we saw everything everybody else said? Or do you think we're not surprised because Grace O'Markey may be cooperating with the government as a witness in the federal criminal case?
Right, I see what you mean. It could be that. There's really no way to know whether or not she's cooperating. Because like with Cassie, you saw the details that Cassie alleged in her lawsuit being played out in the actual formal indictment and the letters that were written by the state to try and encourage the court to hold on to Sean Combs and not release him. Whereas I don't see a lot of specific detail overlap with what O'Markey is alleging, other than the fact that what she alleges confirms and supports what Cassie has been saying. It's interesting. I think what she says, O'Markey, more confirms and report what's in the Lil Rod lawsuit, which is these things that were happening on yachts.
Will Diddy's son cooperate with authorities? Will the new evidence completely turn the case on its head? Or is Diddy about to make a major move that changes everything? Stay tuned, because this legal battle is only getting started. More shocking twists are sure to come, and we'll be here to break down every single development.